I know this is a lot of information, so if you ever have any questions about this, feel free to email me or send me a text because it is somewhat of a complicated process. All three of these are, and it's very easy to get overwhelmed. So before you get to that point, make sure you reach out. Okay, so the third cycle and the third process that we're going to talk about today is the cell respiration. So this is a complementary process to photosynthesis. It's not necessarily opposite, but it complements photosynthesis. So the things needed for respiration to occur are again found on the left side of the arrow. So we have glucose and oxygen. Those were the products from photosynthesis, if you remember. Those were on the other side of the arrow. The output is going to be on the right side of the arrow. It's going to be our carbon dioxide, our water, and our energy. Let's go back to this equation. So if you notice, the outputs for cell respiration, which are going to be found on the right side of the arrow, are exactly what the plant needs to perform photosynthesis. So keep that in mind. Cell respiration is going to take place in the mitochondria, and the mitochondria is found in each of our cells. Mitochondria is going to break down that sugar to release a form of energy. And the energy, again, is what we need to perform our daily activities. And that energy is going to be in the form of ATP. Carbon dioxide then is going to be released as a byproduct. Kind of a waste, or not really waste, but something that we don't need anymore. So that's why we exhale. So similarities between cell respiration and photosynthesis. While photosynthesis is going to require energy and produce food, cell respiration is going to break down food and release energy. Plants are pretty awesome because they can perform both photosynthesis and cell respiration. But since we don't have the proper anatomy for photosynthesis, animals can only perform the cell respiration. So here's a diagram that's going to show both of these processes together. Okay, so the chloroplast in the plant is going to take in light energy. This light energy is going to perform or kind of go through the process of photosynthesis in these green arrows. So we have glucose, which is going to be rearranged by the plant, not necessarily created, but just kind of rearranged by the plant. And then when the animal eats the plant, the glucose or the sugar is going to enter the mitochondria. The chloroplast or the plant is also going to release oxygen. Both the oxygen and the glucose are going to be absorbed by the animal cell. The animal cell is going to release a chemical energy, and it's going to then breathe out or exhale the carbon dioxide and small traces of water, which the plant is going to then take in again. All right, so this leads to the activity 8.2.1, the interaction of cycles. So I copied and pasted right from the lesson, right from the homework assignment. So let's bring what you've learned about the carbon cycle, photosynthesis, and cellular respiration, and show how they are connected / work together in an ecosystem. You're going to play the role of a carbon atom in an ecosystem. Start with the production. How are you made? Then explain how you transform through the different processes. Make sure to include your role in the carbon cycle, photosynthesis, and cellular respiration. There is no set length as long as you explain the role of carbon in each of these processes. Okay, there's the question. Now what? Okay, so lots of students are going to read through the directions, read through the questions, and then write whatever essay they want to. Sometimes we will write just about carbon, because that's what I'm feeling like today. Sometimes we will write about photosynthesis and strictly focus on photosynthesis. However, that's not going to get the score that you deserve because you're not answering all the questions. The first thing to do when you are answering a short answer question is read for the command phrases and the key words. Okay, sometimes sources will suggest highlighting or making a list. That way, you know exactly what the question is asking for. So if I am going through the exact question again, one of the command phrases and the keywords is going to be, how are you made? Okay. And then the other one that I highlighted was explain how you transform and include your role. Those are going to be the three things that need to be focused on to answer this question correctly. So marking these phrases and words are going to help you organize your thoughts and make sure that you answer all of the questions. Because if you have made a list of these three things, you answer, you write your answer, and then you've only answered how are you made, then you need to go back and include more information to fully get the points that you deserve. Okay, a lot of websites and different schools will recommend this RACE method. I got this from www.theteachernextdoor.com. I thought it was it was explained well, so that's why I used this website. So the R in RACE means to recite the question or restate the question. When you are answering incomplete sentences, a lot of the sentence could be the question just restated. So since we already marked all the command phrases and keywords, we can remove the question word, meaning we can recite or restate the question in our answer. So the first question that we marked was, how are you made? If you remove the question word and restate, it'll look something like this. Carbon is made by. Okay. Another one that we marked was how are you transformed, or explain how carbon is transformed. If we restate that, we can say carbon is transformed. And then the last one was what was carbon's role in each of the processes. Okay, carbon's role, ... Okay, so I've just taken those questions, left out the question words, and then used them. Then I can start my answer. I can complete the sentence by using part of the question as my answer. Okay, A is going to equal answering the question. After restating the question, make sure to finish the sentence. Okay, so these things need to be kept in mind. Answer the specific question that's being asked of you. If I'm asking, how is carbon made? I'm asking how carbon is made. I'm not asking where it's found. I'm not asking for where it's found in the deep deposits underground. Okay, I want to know how it's made because that's important to our question. Answer every single part of the question. A lot of us sometimes will read the first question, answer that, and turn it in, thinking that we're done. There are multiple questions sometimes within one question. So if I am going to outline, if you will, the questions that I need to answer for this short answer question, it's going to look something like this. How are you made? Explain how you transform through different processes. Okay, processes. So that means I'm asking for more than just one process. I'm asking for carbon cycle. I'm asking for photosynthesis and cell respiration. So there's 3 questions within that one explanation. Then make sure to include your role in, again, the carbon cycle, photosynthesis, and cell respiration. Again, 3 questions being in that one explanation of the role. C, the C in race is going to stand for cite text evidence. Sometimes in science, we are asked to do this more than others. But when you are citing text evidence, your evidence is going to support your findings. So, for example, the climate change letter that you write to Congress, that is asking you to provide evidence that supports your thoughts. So ways you could do that would be according to the text. So according to my biology lesson, according to the National Geographic magazine, the author stated. I can find a specific author. If I like what he is saying and that author is providing evidence to support my thoughts and my findings, then I can say the author stated, or I can start by saying based on the text. Beginning a sentence with a phrase like this will help you support your thoughts and help cover you from plagiarism, because then at the end of your paper, you are going to explain where you received that information. Okay, the E in race is going to explain what it means. Okay, why does the in-text cite help prove your point? Okay, so we could start by saying those include, this proves, this is a good example. Okay. Some sites I ran into will add an S to race, and that means that you are going to summarize your claim. This means that you're going to use your question as a conclusion. Now, we'll watch the video in a minute, but I know that this sounds like a lot of work, and a lot of people don't have time for a lot of work. But if you notice, on your biology syllabus, it breaks down your different assignments. So the assignments that require a lot more work are going to be weighted a lot more. So if we skip these assignments just because there's a lot of work, these assignments will affect our grade. But if we focus and do these correctly, kind of getting ourselves organized, making sure that we fully understand what's being asked of us, it's only going to help our grade. Okay, so let's look at this video. Again, it includes the S, so it's races, but again, it kind of summarizes what we just talked about. right, so again, I hope that that put things in maybe a better way to understand it, just kind of summarized what we've been talking about. So that is the end of my presentation, but just a couple things to remember. You can use the RACE method on all of your short answer questions. It's very important to make sure that you have answered and explained all the questions to your best ability. Please don't skip them. That's not helping anybody. You are not demonstrating that you understand the material. And the material in this assignment or any of your short answer questions are going to be found on your exam. If they're short answer and require a lot more time and effort, then they're pretty important, okay? So we want you to understand the processes, okay? And again, I know that this was a lot of information thrown at you today, but please feel free to reach out. Email me, send me a text, and I'd love to go over this with you again. Because it can get overwhelming if you are just looking at all the different steps without any guidance. So again, please reach out if you need some help with this. And again, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care.